I'm going to explain to you what an ego death is, and then I'll do another video on the Dark Knight phase because that's horrible. An ego death is when you basically wake up and you're like, wait a minute, who am I? What am I doing? None of this is real. Money isn't real. My job isn't real. The person and neighbor that I hate isn't real. And suddenly you're so awake that it's depressing. I think this hits really hard for Americans because we're so based in capitalist structure and like money and this and political identity. And then you have a spiritual awakening, you have an ego death, and you're like, wait a minute, this isn't real. Like, this is all a game. Like, my neighbor who I fight with every day, that's not real. It's not meaningful. My 9 to 5 that I've clocked in for the last 10 years, not real. My manager that I fight with, not real. It is like you wake up and everyone around you is asleep. Except for a very select few people, okay? And then sometimes those people are awake, but then they're on a whole nother plane and you can't understand what they're saying. And this goes back to when you're transitioning levels and you're kind of trying to find your footing. When you have this ego death, the spiritual awakening, you're alone. You're alone on an island. It's pitch black. There is no light around you and nothing is real. Nothing is real. Your relationships, not real. And you're just like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? And it's scary and it's depressing. And then if you've ever seen the movie The Actual Matrix, okay, there's a great scene where one of the guys wants to go back in the Matrix. And he's like, I just want to taste the steak again. He's like, if I'm going to give you Neo, then make me taste the steak again. And I want to do this. You can't go back. There's no going back. There's no tasting the steak again. I'm sorry to tell you, you've realized that everything's fake. There's no going back. The only way to go is forward. And sometimes that's very hard and very damaging. And you could be in the Dark Knight phase for years. Some people are in it for years. Okay. And it's painful and it's uncomfortable. But once you've had an ego death and once you're awake, it's not like this, oh my God, I had a spiritual awakening. No, it's like, oh my God, everything's fake. Everything's fake. This is not real. And it's almost like you go into a panicked, depressive episode that could last a very long time. I think some people come to having like ego deaths or spiritual awakenings slowly. Like they might realize that that thing they were over identifying with doesn't really matter, and they might change a little bit and their heart might soften. And like maybe they were just like some Bible thumping judging Christian and they're just like, you have to practice my religion. And they might have an experience that softens them and wakes them up to the beyond of what they're actually preaching or knowing. And I'm not putting a mark against anybody who goes hard for Jesus. Like, you do you. But when you have a true ego death, it's hard. It's hard. It's like you fell out of a window 100 stories up and you just hit the concrete and somehow you survived and you got up and you're like, what's happening? And finding your purpose through this, I'll make a separate video because this video is already getting long. Finding your purpose and how to kind of ride the wave of the Dark Knight is very challenging. But if you hear the term ego death, spiritual awakening, it's understanding that none of this is real. None of this is real. We all come from source. We all come from one. And how do we now rebuild our life knowing the truth? If you have questions, let me know.